Something.
Yeah.
Throw me a bone. DYS Town Hall. We're going to be going over a overview, and then after the overview, we're going to ask for public comments, public ideas. Also, we'll have an email address at one of the last slides that shows you where you can write your public comments to. We want to try to end this meeting no later than 8 p.m. to be respectful of everybody else's time there. We're hoping that it ends before then, but we want to make sure to have a kind of a cutoff date, a cutoff time right there. I'd like to start by asking Mr. Kent Jones to come up and lead us in prayer, please.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we're thankful to you for this day and for all the ways you blessed us, and we're thankful to you for this city and for the leaders you provided. We just pray, Lord, that you'll guide them as they endeavor to work through this process, and we just pray that you'll bless us through this week and through your many blessings. For in Christ's name, amen.
Amen. All righty, so first we'll have a little PowerPoint presentation about the DYS property. We've got a few challenges and opportunities. We've got some immediate goals for the property. One of the first things that we really need a lot of help with from the public is to come up with a new name for the property. We also are trying to come up with a mission statement for the project to make sure that we follow within the lines of what the community really wants this property to be. We plan to host a couple of more town hall public meetings for input over the long scope of this project. We're considering bringing on a grant writer to start applying for grants and our immediate goals. We also have 3 small buildings that need to be demolished for the first new trail, and then clearing that trail and going ahead and securing the buildings that are salvageable, and work on construction of the trailhead on south of Old Springle Road Bridge. Also, we've looked into and talked about some of the bathroom buildings for restroom facilities for the site. On long-term goals, we want to build a center we can cherish for posterity, demolish those structures that are unusable to the city, and eventually renovate the usable structures. We'd also love to implement a large trail system throughout the property and install trail markers and signage. And then right now, a big concern is taming the overgrowth that's just covering the property. we've got to make the decisions whether we want to work towards universally accessible trails or have more difficult trails on the path. Also, long-term goal, I think everybody, I hear rumors in the community that everybody wants us to purchase this property from the state if that's possible. I think everybody's in agreement on that. Why spend all the money for a leased property? There's also other surrounding properties that we may, look into expanding further down the road, purchasing from others. So we've had a lot of suggestions on the project. Some of the suggestions that we've had have been a wedding chapel, a recreational building, a gym, covered basketball courts, restrooms, a snack bar, solar power for some of the harder to reach areas, a veterans memorial, event center, an amphitheater, a public works building for the equipment, a pavilion, a nature center, a memorial to the history of the property, and even maybe a community center. All these are just some of the ideas that we've gotten so far. We're always open to a lot of ideas. For the outdoor suggestions, we've heard about having multi-use trails, hiking trails, casual walking trails, even paved trails, mountain bike trails, equestrian trails, motorcycle trails, possibly wheelchair accessible areas, park benches, sensory gardens, rain gardens, vegetable gardens, community gardens, water gardens, butterfly gardens. I noticed there's a lot of people that want trails and gardens out there. I think that's probably something that everybody wants to do on the property. We've also heard requests for a dog park, farmer's market, and of course, picnic areas on the trails. Some of the benefits the city has right now is, as far as the equipment that we have, we own a lot of the equipment that we need to do the development of this property. The city's also in a great financial position. And in our community, we have people in the community that just know about everything. Our knowledge in the community is just so far out there. So we have to lean towards y'all on the knowledge too. So if you've got any specific, if you have any specific knowledge and information, please bring it to us. We've already got a couple of grants to work towards the property, and just due to the nature of this property, there is tons of funding that's available for this. The Forestry Commission also has some programs, so we'll be hopefully getting them involved. There's also a state wildlife action plan that was formed in 2025. So I think that can be very helpful to us for the wildlife. Kind of a ugly thing right now that's actually really beneficial is that big pile of asphalt where they ripped up the bridge. So we've got materials that we can put down for, parking for the trailheads and that kind of stuff. We just got to mill it up. And also when they did the construction, the trailhead is mostly cut in. That big open flat area, thought is to use that for parking as a trailhead. Some of the hurdles are this property is huge. You're talking over 540 acres. That's a lot of land. So the financial costs, especially from the tornado damage, and the property's just been neglected. The state, it got hit by the tornado in 2012, and basically the state just said, we're gone, we're done. Also, the amount of this property, the number of city employees that we have is not going to be enough. We're going to have to bring in some people just to keep the grass cut and keep this property maintained. The sheer project size is a hurdle, just because it's so big. The fact that it's a leased property, and then security and safety are big issues there with the condition that the property's in. The great news is we've got some good grant opportunities. You've got the RTP grants, the NRPA grants, the ADECA grants, the LWCF grants, the Alabama Tourism Department grants, the CWSRF grants, which that actually just started April of this year. So that's brand new. They're allocating $282 million for stormwater. So that's a huge one. And they actually want to give 25% to communities with 10,000 or less people. So we would be right there. So that's a great one. That's a great one for us. The newer the grant is, the less chance people are applying for it. So that's all we had on that. Next, we'll go over a couple of pictures of the property. Maybe. That's a new one. Did the TV turn off?
No, it's
I
on.
think so.
Try power side than the TV.
Okay.
The brightness of the TV just went down a lot. That's the wrong input. Maybe it changed inputs. Should be HDMI 3, I believe, Brad.
Where
That's
is
it. It shows that it's there, PC. On 3.
Didn't see three as an option.
It should say PC on it. Yeah,
That's
the right
it?
one. All right. There we go. I just restarted. Maybe it's on my end.
Okay.
The whole thing got real dim. Those little things on the bottom too, so. It probably is the gremlins.
He may be here to make a call.
While we're waiting on that, why don't you introduce your ad hoc committee?
Okay, yes. I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves now, starting with Emily, if y'all don't mind.
Miss Evelyn?
Yeah, where's Evelyn?
She's hiding in the corner.
Oh, is she back? I didn't see her
Evelyn,
walk
come on
She
in.
just came in. Come on up.
Get up here.
Go to the next contestant. Bring the keys.
What I'll do now, while we look this up here.
Who you are and some of the skills and abilities you bring to this table.
All right, I'll go first while we're waiting on Evelyn. My name is Emily Hutto. So I currently work in parks, which is how I got asked to be on this committee. So I have a lot of experience working in parks, dealing with both the benefits and the issues that we run into, and I have a lot of expertise on what does and does not work. There's a lot of things that people think are good ideas on paper, but then, sometimes they don't always work in action, and I have a lot of experience with that. So that's how I ended up on this committee. You want to go next, Evelyn?
My name is Evelyn Parker. I'm a resident here since 2018 for 8 years. I got on this committee because I like the ideals that a lot of the other people have, and I feel like my input would be as well as theirs, as good as theirs. Okay.
I'm Bill McAllister. I've lived on Wood Creek Road down here, right across from the girls' school since 1975.
Okay.
Over the years, we laugh. We have rescued many girls that came up to the door and said, "My boyfriend dumped me out," or been in a wreck, you know, my neighbor even took them to the bus station and bus ticket. So I vested interest in that property. In the 2012 tornado that did our neighborhood and took care of a lot of things. And I guess they make fun of me. My number one word is bicycles. I'm not one of those that wears the tight pants, but I ride my old man beach bike, and I had made a statement, I want to ride my bike on that property before I die. So we had a meeting out there one day and I tooled it right across. So I'm just a proponent of recreation and what this can do for our community. I have a friend in Montana that works in parks there. He just said, y'all don't know what you're sitting on there. This is fantastic what it can do for the quality of life in your community. So that's my interest. I'm a retired civil engineer and know something about construction a little bit.
This thing worked fine.
My name is Chris White. I've been a resident here for 22 years. And I guess I work at Alabama Power and do land development and structures. So I'm well versed in most things with land and the development of it. So, and also safety is sort of my thing too. So I'm really plugged in with OSHA and all their codes. And so I guess that's why I'm involved. And plus I just love to serve my community and just do anything I can to help.
So I think we got a great team.
You're on it, and Nathan's got a piece of.
There it went, okay.
Yay.
Okay. I think I know what happened. I think my laptop just fought with the TV and tried to change it. So let's try this other cable so I don't have to be leaning over this thing.
Those laws of nature.
Yeah, that was working up until now.
Yeah. I should change.
I think PowerPoint going first messed us up. Because it likes to change the displays. All right, so you have to switch back to HDMI 3 for me.
Okay.
Or 4, because it's DC's on 4, it says.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. While we're waiting, trying to ask a question.
James,
Yes, go ahead.
Is it the plan that this will, once approved and the planning's done, that this will fall under the responsibility of Parks and Recreation? Or is it strictly city?
that's a Jane question.
Might be too early for that question.
Yeah, we're an ad hoc committee and we're going to be making the recommendations to the city council about this. So we have no voting power. We just are a recommendatory committee. So
You're asking if it would be for instance, a part of the Greenways trail system that Cosby Lake is, Turkey Creek is that Red Rock Trail system? Is that what you're asking?
No, the primary question I was asking is, once we put a plan together and when we know what we're putting onto that property, basically whose responsibility, what department of the city's gonna be the responsibility to maintain that? And I would imagine Parks and Recreation would be a lot.
But when she said Parks and Rec, she means that she works with the Jefferson County Greenways.
Yes.
She doesn't
Oh,
work with,
okay.
we don't currently have a Park and Rec department. We have a Clay Youth Sports Department, and we have Public Works, but we specifically don't have a Park and Rec department combined at this point. So we would add a whole new department of parks.
Yeah, I don't work for the city. I work for Jefferson County Greenways, which manages Ruffner Mountain, Turkey Creek, and Red Mountain Park.
Very good, thank you.
And I didn't get to introduce myself. For the ones that don't know me, I'm Nathan Thompson. I have actually had a lot of experience with rental properties and property development over the years. I've also got a game store, which is not anywhere relevant to this. So I've got a real wide aspect of things. One day you might see me on the side of a mountain on a backhoe, or the other day I might be driving a trencher or a skid steer, and another day I might be blessed and be in the air conditioning at my game store. So I just go every day. So this is what we have, just Google Photos. And this is not current, this is the most current, but this is from 2024. So as you can see, everything's grown up. If you look right here and kind of focus on this triangular shaped building, you'll see some of the changes over the years. So this was back 2023 when everything was going, and there's that triangular shaped building again. So we go from that, 2003, I said 2023, to this. So in 2011, I got a really good picture that year from the satellite imagery. So you can see all the buildings that are there. Well, then in January of 2012, some of you might have been here and remember the tornado that hit. That's what it looked like after that. So we went from here to here. And then we now have everything's just grown over just due to the neglect. So it's amazing how much can grow, in a 15-year time period. We've got a video right after this slide. I'll go ahead and apologize. We had issues with the drone, so I had to use my drone. The end of the video, we didn't get all the aerial footage that we wanted. I'm not a professional drone pilot, so we've got some drone and video in here. We didn't get all the video that we wanted because the drone battery got low and somebody forgot to attach the obstacle anti-collision to it. And they realized that as the drone was returning towards the DYS gate. So also all we have is the captured video from the cell phone. The high definition resolution video is somewhere on the brand new memory card that is in the drone, somewhere in a tree on the DYS property. So yes, yes. But we did get a little bit, and we've got enough that you can go over, but just please, I apologize in advance for my poor driving skills of the drone.
Nathan, just to clarify, that's not the entire 540 acres that you just showed us.
No, that is not the entire 540 acres. That is approximately
115,
maybe something like that. Yeah, what we're looking at is a very small portion of the property. And all this footage was from Saturday.
Because Public Works is cutting the grass out there.
This is as you're going into the gate, through the main gate.
Do we know who those are graves of? Just
Some of them are marked. It's from what I could tell, most of the wearing band.
Okay.
So for that, but there was a mausoleum at one time that you could see the rubble from of some kind, and so it's real hard to decide.
Is there a legal issue with having to move those graves, or?
No, I don't know the answer to that.
We would probably need to get with some of the, we've got some people who have some knowledge of the history of that cemetery and other cemeteries in the area. So we would probably call them in, like he said, and get them to help us with that. William Nolan, one of our local deputies, has done a video about that Ware Cemetery up at the top of that hill. I think it's called, on YouTube, called Unmarked Cemetery,
I think so.
something like that.
Forgotten.
Forgotten Cemetery, there we go. And so he might be able to help us with some locations of exact graves and that kind of thing.
Video editing skills are not that great either, guys, so.
And this drive-in is only in that 100 plus acres of the 500. It's a diamond in the rough.
And we're pulling up to the buildings right now.
This is the one. I would craft it.
You see the roof is just in terrible condition in some of these buildings.
That's a proposed demo.
So the state actually wants us to keep this building
And renovate.
and renovate it. And the easiest way that I'm thinking to do this is to just take the whole top of it off and knock everything out in there. And that's the only way I see it feasible to do this.
Just leave the skeleton, rebuild the structure.
Yeah, the way just leave it open walls and put it back.
She even called the audio the birds.
The drone had no audio. The audio's on the memory card in the woods. So these are fake birds.
That's the back side of that building, the two-story building. That's the long, narrow backside.
You can see vandals have been out there all over the property. And I tried very carefully to not photograph anything that was inappropriate. So there are a couple of things that made the video, but I apologize for that. It's very hard to find pictures in there that have got the inappropriate stuff blanked out. So this building has just got the skylights out, and it's got some doors that need to be repaired or replaced.
Can any of these buildings be deemed historical landmarks?
Probably that
Probably.
first one that was built by the CCP in the 30s. That would really be the only one. The state considers this chapel that you're fixing to see also historic, but it was built in 1967, so not really.
can see the
Since I was
condition of
built
the
in
chapel.
1967, I don't think it's that old at all.
There might be a comment from that one from when I was up here.
The chapel's got these buttress walls and limestone, and it just knocked your socks off.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
And same thing with this one, the whole top of the building would have to come off of it.
And that one with the skylights is the triangle building that you saw in the pictures.
Right, the activities building.
And in the admin building, it's just not just the wood, but the slabs are corroded. There's thin concrete slabs, rusted out. There's nothing.
Well, you could jackhammer all that.
I'll have a new proposal of a potential add to this massive project that might incorporate one of the buildings that might be interesting.
This is basically the jail. That long, narrow, part has, it's got what?
These are the
6 foot
cells.
6 foot hallway straight down the middle with eight by 10 maybe cells.
There's the cells,
All the
there's
way
the
down.
hallway.
Toilet.
So this was the living conditions of the girls.
What the walls could talk.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear it.
No.
It's creepy going in there.
And this one has like the entire basement's full of water.
Notice all those bicycle paths ready to go. Paved and ready.
And a lot of the trees, you saw how after the tornado, that was pretty much everything was wiped out. So the trees that you're seeing, a lot of them are Bradford pear, privet, mimosa.
And so you see there on the left, there's the
Yes.
pond right there. And this is about where my drone decided it wanted to go somewhere else.
Was that a parking lot, that light, was that for parking?
And if you have any suggestions, DYS@clayalabama.org is a good email to reach us at. And also, if you have any questions for me, I'm nthompson@clayalabama.org. So which parking were you talking about?
That last picture that showed the pond, there was
Yes.
looked like there was a double light fixture. And I was wondering, is that?
That might be where the tennis courts were.
Okay.
It's that they aren't in the picture of the pond. So there are a lot of light poles that are there. But most of the infrastructure for the power was knocked out by the tornado, but there's random light poles that are not connected to anything. They had pretty good lighting back there when it was in full service and full use. So before we take any public comments, we'd love to hear the public comments and public suggestions, but are there any questions over what we've gone over that you want to ask the committee first?
I have a question. I heard you say that the state wants you to keep the not chapel, what was the first admission?
The administration
building.
Administration
Yes, ma'am.
building, thank you. Are they requiring that as part of the lease that you renovate and save that building?
It is in the lease, yes, ma'am.
It is in the lease, okay. And so there's that, we were all told that it was a $12,000 agreement for 75 years. And now they're requiring this renovation of this one particular building. Are there other required costs, things that they are gonna require the city to do, the state is requiring the city to do?
So I know the mayor is working and trying to resolve getting meetings with the Department of Youth Services and seeing if we can change some things on that lease.
Okay, so we're not really sure yet.
We're working on resolving that to make it more favorable for the city of Clay.
Okay.
And make it clear the 12,000, that's per year.
The 12,000 is per year.
$1,000 a month for 75 years. Not twelve.
$12,000 for 75 years.
No,
Yes.
$12,000 a year for 70.
Year for 75 years.
Right, for
Okay,
75
because
years.
it was unclear back a few months ago that I thought it was 12,000 for the life of the lease. It's
Right.
not.
Right, okay. So how much is that? 12,000?
$900,000.
Oh, okay.
I know in construction, mainly in rental properties and lease properties, that if the tenant is leasing the property, does improvements to the property, a lot of times it could be taken off of either the purchase price or we do not apply.
It does not apply. Would anyone like to make any comments? Step towards the microphone, please. Or did you have a question
I just
before
had a
comment?
quick question.
Yeah.
What is the likelihood of us being able to purchase it from the state? I know you mentioned that as like a possible conversation.
I would say the likelihood is probably high, but it'll take some negotiation to go in.
Okay,
I would think the likelihood is high because they don't want the liability on them for the 75 years.
sure.
And they tried to sell it to us previously. And that was in the prior administration, so they couldn't come up with a number that everybody agreed on. And I think that hopefully now that the prior administration got this lease for us and locked that property down for 75 years, state of Alabama's not going anywhere, but the state of Alabama doesn't really want to, $12,000 a year to them is no money
Right.
for the liability. So I think that it's very high potential that we'll be able to negotiate a purchase price for the property.
Okay. And the only other question I have is, I just wanted it said out loud, like, is there any intention for data center in the future by Clay or the state of Alabama?
I don't see that property would be conducive to that.
Okay.
There's not water close by.
Mhm.
It's very hilly. What we've been talking about is 100 or so acres, and it's surrounded by steep terrain, and the backside of it is all developed with a neighborhood. So I don't see that being an option for us.
As a council member, I don't see that as getting approved for that property. As the mayor, I don't think that. I can't speak for the other council members, but I don't believe that's in the future for this property.
I have a question. In fact, I think the biggest issue for the future is developing or putting together a grant team. I think that's gonna be the biggest thing. I know you in Jefferson County, you're big aware of that. That's probably the biggest factor for us to develop and work with this, is to do a development team with grant.
Right, that's on our short-term goals.
Okay, so
You
can I ask-
may have walked in after the
Y'all are
PowerPoint.
gonna ask for that help? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
May I ask one question? As a 17-year-old, 60 years ago, I was out there quite often with church teenage groups, having parties with the girls and everything. Can't say that I remember very much about it, except the big tall building with the tall thing. But anyway, when roughly was the property or the buildings not used anymore? Can you tell me that?
Yes, it was shortly after the tornado hit. The tornado hit in January of 2012. So they had, I believe it's approximately 15 girls at the time that were they had already started shutting down the program there. But I believe there were, don't quote me on the number, but I believe it was 15 girls that were remaining in the program when the tornado hit.
Well, I had no idea, because like I said, we were out there often 60 years ago, but I didn't live out in this area, and now I live on Summit Point. So it's, and I heard from my neighbors here what our, area happened, and then I just know that, well, I used to go out there all the time, and that was just something I just wondered. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions or suggestions, Polly?
Yeah, I'll come up so everybody can hear.
Look at her, she's walking.
I know I'm walking, total knee replacement. What's that?
Look at you.
Hey, everybody, my name is Polly McClure, and I'm so proud that our city and community have this property. 540 acres to add to Cosby Lake is huge. And I think we're already being known for our commitment to nature and providing that to our community, and this is even going to be even more. And so thank you to everybody that is working. I know you guys have your work cut out for you, but I can tell from your experience that you're going to be a great team, and I'm really, really appreciative. And I know you're going to need all of the community. First of all, Nathan, will this, or is it already available on the website, what you just showed us, the PowerPoint?
No, it is not yet. This PowerPoint was completed today.
Okay.
So all that video, it's been in the works. All that video footage was just taken Saturday.
Yeah, that's
So,
fine.
yeah,
I don't,
no, it's
but
not.
the other was so small and. it
Oh,
was-
yeah. I'll have to check with the mayor, but I don't see any reason why we would not make that
Thank
available to the.
Thank you. That would be very helpful, especially for those of us that have older eyes. Let me just say that. So one of my main concerns is that we, and I know because of your all's expertise, you will do this in a step-by-step fashion. And I'm the one that sent the Alabama Wildlife Plan to Nathan, and I'm very interested in having that looked at by the state, because I would hate for us to start doing something if the wildlife plan, and that's not just for wildlife, it's terrain, it's plants, it's the whole shebang. And so I think, number one, there's a lot of grant money there because they just approved that new wildlife plan. And so they have a lot of resources that will come out and take a look at the whole 540 acres and tell us what we can preserve, how we can lay it all out that would preserve the wildlife, the terrain. It would be, I just think there will be a lot of grants. So I'm very interested in that happening before we start looking at what other things that we need to do.
There's only certain things that we can do within that because we don't own the property.
Right,
So,
correct.
so there, I've already called them and spoken with them. So,
Okay, good.
so, yeah.
If you could share that as we go along for us to kind of keep up with what you're doing. I think there's a lot of people in the community, as you said, have resources and skills that could help along the way. So.
It's going to be this is going to be a long-term project, as you can see from the stuff. One of our goals is the upper trail area, which I did not get a chance to video for unknown reasons. So there are 3 buildings up there, and there's already basically a trail in place for the new trail system. So it was a former road bed. Part of it's improved, part of it needs to be cleared out. So that's already in place, and that actually ties in less than that and the trailhead there where they did the bridge construction ties in within 100 feet. It's probably about 60 feet of the current trail system that we have in place for Cosby Lake.
So it sounds like, Mr. Bill, you will get to ride your bike.
He already has. He met us via bicycle, so he looked pretty worn out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Polly. Do we have any other public comments, suggestions, additions, ideas? We'd love to hear them if you've got them.
The only statement I'll make is I think we have a great opportunity to take something that might have been looked at as a black eye in the community or something negative in the past and really turn it into something positive. It's going to help attract future homeowners, more tax revenue in the community, and I think it's just seems to be a beautiful opportunity.
Absolutely.
Even if it's going to take time.
It's going to take time.
You're up for a challenge, and you're the team for it.
If we can get this property purchased, which will let us do additional things,
Yeah.
I'm confident that everybody in the state's gonna be jealous of what we can do there.
I can't think of any neighboring communities that in the last 50 years had an opportunity to take over 500+ acres in the heart of the community. So
It's a huge blessing.
Yeah.
It's a huge blessing. We're blessed.
Does the city have the funds to make the purchase?
It would depend on the price that the state wants, but I feel confident that the city has the funds to make the purchase. But just based on my real estate experience over the years and based on people that I've talked to, I feel confident that purchasing it would not be a problem for the city.
I got one question.
Yes.
From the planning and zoning group, most of us, generating revenue for this project.
Thank you.
I do apologize. Eddie Dawson, planning and zoning. We've been speaking about the generating revenue for this property. We know it's gonna take a extended amount of money, funds to get it. Have we come up with anything outside of grants that, so we won't break the city bank account trying to put this project together? And part two is, are we able to set some kind of deadline so everyone can look forward? We don't have a finish line. We don't have a goal to reach.
We plan to, as far as the grants, so our short-term, one of our short-term goals that we plan to present to the council are to get a grant writer in to start writing those grants, because there's tons of grants over there. I went through a lot of them in the PowerPoint, and like I said, I believe we'll put that available online. So there's a ton of grant opportunities. I didn't even name, I named probably about 50% of the grant opportunities that are out there. So we're gonna plan to do that. And yes, it will have to be a staged, it needs to be a stage. It's not gonna be all at one thing. We've already had the city engineer out there and he's looked. We've walked the proposed first trail to be cut in. We've already walked that with the city engineer and looked over that. So that's probably the easiest goal, the first goal. And so we're going to present all that to the city council, and then they'll make the decisions on how to proceed from there. So, but yes, it will be a staged, it will definitely be a staged project. And that way we hope to open up, our goal is to open up parts of the property to the citizens so they can use and start enjoying this treasure that we have.
Thank you. It's good information.
I do have a question, sorry. So we have a $95,000 grant already available? Is that gonna help pay for the new trail, the first cut in?
Yes.
Okay.
We can't vote on that, but as the mayor and I being on the city council, I think we can answer yes.
We received that from Innovate Alabama. They had already applied for that grant.
Yeah.
And so we did receive it, and there's a specific amount of it that has to go towards the engineering of that. And then there's a chunk of it that would go towards the construction of a trail. So yes, and then we also received another 12,000 from Danny Garrett last year to add to that. So that's about where we are.
So if we get if the city were to hire a equipment operator or go, that's the city's decision what they want to do as far as getting that. We have money to go ahead and start opening up that. And the great thing is that we have the equipment to go in and do it. We just don't have enough people in public works to go run the equipment. Our qualified operators are just busy with all kinds of other projects. So that's what we need to look at from the city side and see if there's anything we can do to start working on those.
Nathan, I just want to, if possible, you know, when we receive grants, everybody always thinks, oh my gosh, we got $100,000. But they don't, as you just explained, Jane, a lot of those grants are restricted and they can only be used for certain things. So
Correct.
when we announce a grant, it might be helpful for the community to know, yes, we got this money, but this much has to be used for whatever it is.
Administrative or building or
Yeah.
what have you.
People get so excited, and then when they don't see what they think they need to see, then they get very aggravated. So I think it would be helpful as we receive these grants to announce what, you don't have to get down into the
Right.
nuts and bolts.
Well, a lot of grants are matching grants.
Yeah.
So, or they're 80-20 grants. So, you know, they'll give you the money, but you've got to come up with 20%, or with some grants, you might have to come up with upward of, 50-50 matching grants.
We don't
So-
want those, we want the free money. But like I said, the $12,000 grant, I don't think there's really any stipulations on that. It just has to be used on the project.
Yes,
If I'm
that's
correct.
correct.
And the 95,000, what is the percentage that has to be used for actual, do you know that in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me. It was less than, I think it was 20%. Seems like it was 10 or 15 was
12,000 for engineering.
engineering, administration, and then the rest could be.
The rest has to be used for the project. And most of the grants are gonna be that way. Most of the grants are, because the grant writers, the grantors don't want to give you money and then you eat it up administratively. They want to give you money for the project. So most of the time, the administrative costs are going to be a small percentage of that project. And hopefully you fall under that number that they give you.
That administrative cost can also help subsidize new employees.
Possibly.
Maybe. It would depend, it would be a case by case.
How's that zoned, how's the property zoned now?
I believe it's institutional.
Institutional, will that remain the same or will be proposed?
That will be up to our planning and zoning department.
We'd have to make that determination.
As we're making comments, keep in mind that on the PowerPoint, one of the things that we really want to hear from the community about is what to name this property, and also a mission statement. So my organization is currently building a park right now, and one of the most beneficial things we did was make a mission statement for the park, and that guides that guides our decision making on like what we should prioritize in building and developing. So I think just personally, mission statements are important, because if the community can make a mission statement for this park, it will help us as a committee know what to build. I hope that makes sense, because if you don't have a mission statement, it's just everything's just kind of spaghetti on the walls, and we want to avoid that.
And the name suggestions obviously as well. So we've had a lot of name suggestions. We're always looking for more. And if you have any comments, any questions, any concerns, the main email is dys@clayalabama.org. Like I said, if you'd like to forward the mayor and I on those, hers is Jane Anderton at clayalabama.org, and mine is N Thompson at clayalabama.org. And one of us will definitely get back to you on that. We want any suggestions that you have. We're a small group of people. The council's a small group of people. We need the community's input to make these decisions. That's why we want these town hall meetings to happen, so we can get more input from you. And that's why I tried to provide what I could with the video and photos for y'all. And there's a lot more. Yes, ma'am.
Can you share some of the name suggestions that y'all have heard so far?
I think we'd rather want to get all the names together at one time. I think that's probably best at this point. I don't have them compiled into a list. We've got them in a lot of different emails, so it wouldn't be something I'd be prepared to do, but I'll speak with the mayor on that and see if we want to kind of.
One thing I kind of got wadded up about is, it's one big property in one name, and ideas I had are far overshadowed by some of the things I'd heard suggested, but maybe we could, name like a track or, like Bryant Denny Stadium, Saban Field, name little parts of it in honor of people, cemetery, a track or something. So just because there's a lot of things suggested in pick one, some of those could still be used, in my opinion, for subsections. So that name the lake, name the bike path, something like that. So I'd say keep your suggestions coming in.
Right, absolutely.
Cool. So.
Nathan, I got a question for Ms. Hutto. You said your organization is currently building another park.
It is, yes.
Could you share that? What the information on what park is that you're currently building involved in?
Yes, so we are currently building a park called East Side Park. We're probably going to change the name. That's just what it's called right now. It's in the Roebuck Springs area, and it's not connected to Ruffner Mountain, but we would like it to be. It's just a few acres away. It's about 6 acres, and it's going to be a universally accessible park.
So it's kind of the same situation.
It's a very similar
I
situation.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
That lends my credibility
Yeah.
to what you said.
I'd love to hear the mission statement or something like it, just to kind of get my brain thinking about
The mission statement of what?
the park. You said you had that was very
She wants to know what that one is.
Oh, East Side.
I don't know it off the top of my
Well,
head.
of course, but like maybe what are some of the phrases, some of the things that, so that as we're thinking about what we would want the mission of this property to be.
Yeah, so I don't know it off the top of my head. So basically the main points of our park are that it is universally accessible. So what that means is that it's for everybody and anybody, regardless of their physical abilities or, anything about them, anybody can come there. So what that means is it's wheelchair accessible, stroller accessible to people who, might have mobility aids or people who don't need mobility aids. So all of that went into the planning of this park. And so where things are located in relation to the parking lot was very heavily considered, especially the bathrooms. The bathrooms are giant, consideration. The bathrooms are accessible for people who need adult changing tables. All of the trails are made in such a way that the grade is going to be accessible to wheelchairs and strollers. I'm not on our organization's committee for this park, so if you wanted more details, you'd have to ask them. But there were lighting considerations as well and stuff like that. So basically that's what it is every decision that we made went back to the mission of how do we make this accessible to everybody so that nobody is blocked out from accessing any part of the park, if that makes sense.
That's helpful.
And this park would not be just do the topography. There would be no way to do the entire park universally accessible. You could if you spent $20 billion.
Right.
Or whatever. If you
You've got a wide enough avenue down the middle of it that's
Right.
nice and flat.
Yeah, there's a large section.
Flat there.
Yeah.
There's a large section that we could put those universally accessible trails in. So there is a large section that has very little grade. Are there any more questions or comments from the public out here? Any questions or comments from any of my board members committee members that we didn't go over that I might have skipped?
Good presentation, well organized, very good. Nathan's into this, if y'all can't tell. That's a compliment. A big compliment.
Really, the only comment that I had, Nathan, was that the road, when we were touring it, I got really excited about where the road was located because it's accessible to so many things. It's accessible to what was the chapel, and then it's also accessible to this really nice, pretty trail that's behind the chapel that goes past the lake. And as somebody who does a lot of education and field trips, I got really excited about that because that is a place where you could like do a lot of activities that would be accessible for a lot of people. That was all I really wanted to add. I was just really excited about the layout of the road and how much opportunity it will give to a lot of the community.
It looked like from your video, Nathan, that the roads were in relatively good shape.
Yeah, they
They're
are.
in decent shape, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so we wouldn't have to do a lot of repairs.
No, and there's a lot more roadway, as Emily was stating, that goes around to where those old buildings were that you saw in the pictures of in 2003 and 2011. So there's a lot more roads that are there. A lot of it's overgrown.
Right, pavement to be uncovered.
And the, so I think it'd be easier to go in there with a sweeper on the front of a skid steer and you can just strip that stuff up and then you're back to pavement, so. All righty, well, if there's nothing else out there, we'd really appreciate y'all coming out. Again, please email us if you have any questions, concerns, or comments. We would love to hear them. Our next city council meeting is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. for pre-council and 6:30 p.m. for the council meeting. So please come out and join us for that as well. And thank y'all for coming out. Everybody's dismissed. Thank you.